welcome everyone. My name is Kyle and I work over here at the DMS, the Digital Media Studio at the Joliet Library. And today we've got a tutorial for you on Ableton Live. And right here I've got Ableton Live Lite 11. We're going to keep it simple. We're just going to learn how to import some loops, stack them, loop them, adjust the levels a little bit, and export it so you can make your own song. The purpose of this tutorial is to show you that you don't necessarily have to be an experienced songwriter to start having some fun in Ableton and put together some songs. And all the loops we're using today are from looperman.com. You can check that site out. It's not a sponsor of this video, but it's just a great, helpful site. So, might as well get started here. When you open Ableton Live, it's going to look something like this. And the first thing I like to do is click this button right here, which changes our view. So this is just a more comfortable view for me to put my songs together. I don't know. It's arrangement and session view. So you can pick whichever one you like best, but for this tutorial today, we're going to be working in this view. So let's start by grabbing some of our loops. I've got some already downloaded here. We can start with the bass. So all you need to do to drag a loop in is just click and hold, drag it over, and pop it into your project. So we can go ahead and listen to this. Let's see how it sounds. Sounds pretty cool. Kind of like a trancey bass line there. I'm just going to drag it over here. And so this is the track that we've assigned to this loop, and we could rename it if we like. Right click and hit rename, and we can hit bass. There we go. So now we know this track. And then if you can also change the color. So if we wanted it to be pink, so we know, okay, all the pink tracks are our bass tracks. A couple other buttons we have here. This is to enable or disable the track. So if I have this highlighted yellow here and I press play, we can hear it. If I have this turned off and press play, nothing's going to happen. This is our solo button. It's not really going to make sense right now, but when you have this button selected, if you have other tracks lined up with this track, it will mute all of those so you can just hear this. It's helpful for when you're trying to dial in the sound of just one of your tracks and you already have a bunch on your timeline. We can play with that later. This button here enables the recording feature, so you can see these bars moving because the program is connected to the microphone that I'm using to record this tutorial with. So test, 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 test. See? And if I wanted to record with this microphone, I could just click over here and press this button here. Testing 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3. There you go. It's that simple. So moving along, this blue kind of half-filled or three-fourths filled bar is just your volume. So, you know, you can just make it louder or softer. I'm going to undo what I did there. This button here is how you can pan left or right. So if I pull it all the way to the left and then I press play, it's only coming in the left speaker. If I pull it all the way right, it's only coming through the right speaker. That can be a helpful tool to, do some dynamic mixing when you get to that point in your project. Those are the only functions we're going to worry about for this tutorial. Let's go ahead and grab another clip and bring it into our project so we can bring in these chords. So I'm just clicking and dragging, dropping it in on a different track so we can rename it. Chords. Let's see how it sounds by itself. If you remember, I can hit this solo button, and even though these are stacked on top of each other, we'll only hear this track. It's got a nice repetitive chord progression there just to fill out the middle of our song. So let's hear how they sound together. I'm gonna click off this solo button and just let it play. And to play, I'm just hitting the space bar. Sounds pretty cool so far. Let's get some drums in here. Let's go back to our folder and find these drums. Where are they at? Here we go. Drag them onto this track. And you can see this clip is a lot shorter than the others. There's multiple ways to loop this. We can copy it by right-clicking, copy, or you can use the hotkeys on Mac, Command-C, on PC, Control-C. I'm on a Mac right now, so, and then we can just click next to where it ends here and just paste, Command-V, and we can do it this way. This is how I generally tend to do it for some reason, even though it's probably a lot easier to just hover over the end of the clip, click, and just pull it out. So let's hear what this sounds like by itself. Sounds pretty great. You know what, I think I'm gonna wait to bring in these chords. So I'm gonna drag these chords over to the side, and then extend this, and extend this, because I want it to just start out with drums and bass and then have the chords come in. So let's hear how that sounds. And we've got a problem here, I've noticed. Down here is your master volume, all your master controls here. And it looks like we're clipping a little bit, so I'm just gonna drag this one down a little bit. And that should be better now. Oh, still clipping. You see how it's red? We don't want that. So let's drag it down. And it looks like our bass has, I forgot to pull the bass back to be panned up the middle, so it was only clipping on the left side. Okay, now I've got that fixed, so let's just go ahead and hear it. And we've got no clipping right now. But as you add tracks, you need to keep your eye on all the different levels and make sure none of them are in the red. You want them to always be green. I think maybe about here would be a better time for these chords to come in. And I'm just gonna start them over. Just gonna have them start from the top when they go over there. So let's hear how it comes in. I think these chords are actually a little too loud for me, so I'm going to bring them down a little bit. Let's hear how they sound now. Okay, so we've got another track we can drag in here, but we're out of audio tracks. What can we do? We can just right-click over here, insert audio track. There we go. That's how you make a new audio track. So let's go back to our folder, find the lead. Here it is. And let's have this start on the third measure. And you know what? I think I've changed my mind. I want to drag everything over. I want to have it just start with the bass. So let's drag this over. Whoops. Let's click, hold shift, and click on this so we grab the entire section. Drag this over here. We can drag this over, hover over the end, and just remove the first section of the drums. I'm going to extend the bass out. I'm going to extend the drums out. And I'm going to move the lead over to have it come in at the end. So let's hear how our song sounds now. That is much too loud with the lead, so of course we can come back over to this blue bar, pull it down. Let's give it a listen before we hear our track back. I think I've got it about where I want it for now for the purposes of this tutorial, so let's listen to it from the top once again, just so I like to listen to my projects from the top throughout the whole working process, listen to how everything joins the project, listen to the vibe. So let's start it from the top. Now, is this a perfectly mixed track? No, absolutely not. But the purpose of this tutorial is just to get you started. These are just 4 loops that I downloaded from looperman.com. I saved them in a folder and I just dragged them in one by one. I adjusted the levels a little bit. Now, for this to be a finished song, I would spend a lot more time fine-tuning all the details and trying to get everything perfect. But let's just move on to the last step. So when you are done with your song, when you're ready to send it out to the world, you need to export it. Exporting it just takes it from being an Ableton project file to an MP3 or WAV file. I prefer to use WAV files when I can because they are higher quality. What I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight what we've got here, the entire song, start to end, and I'm just clicking, holding, and dragging, getting the whole thing in there. So we export just what we have selected. I'm going to come up to File, Export Audio. I'm going to hit Export. It's going to ask me where I want to save it. We can save it in... I'll just save it to my desktop here, and we'll call it Tutorial Song. I'm going to save it. Doesn't take very long. It's already ready. And then now we can listen to it in iTunes. And now this song is ready to play back. You could save it to your phone, you could upload it to a site like Bandcamp or SoundCloud, add it to a video and make a YouTube video. You know, it's ready to move on to the next step. It's ready to be shown to the world. In conclusion, we've learned how to add some loops to Ableton. We've learned about enabling tracks. We've learned about the volume. We've learned about the solo button. We've learned about the record function. We've learned about panning. Just scratching the surface on this. Obviously, there's a lot more to all these functions, and maybe in the future we will be covering those in other videos. But I'm hoping that you enjoyed this and that you learned something, at least enough to get you started. This is for the musician or the want-to-be musician who wants to just start playing around with mixing and mastering and putting clips together. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit like, please subscribe to the Joliet Library YouTube channel. And if you live in Joliet and have a Joliet Library card, feel free to make an appointment here at the DMS, the Digital Media Studio, and we can play around with some loops here, or if you have your own music you'd like to come in and record, I'll be happy to work with you. We've got other people here happy to work with you as well. We do all sorts of things. You can not only make music, we can record videos, we can record a podcast, we can take photos, we can help digitize your old media like VHSs and vinyl and 8mm and old slides. There's a multitude of services. Check out the rest of the YouTube channel. There's a lot of other videos that show you what we do down here in the DMS. And all of our services, unless you're printing something, are completely free. All you need is a Joliet Library card and a flash drive to take your work with you, because we don't save files here. So I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I hope this inspires you to either start making your own music or to come on into the Joliet Library and make an appointment at the DMS. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.
Digital Media Studio.